Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for the donations. I'll get to recognizing those in a moment. Has visiting your local casino been like going to a resort to ride a roller coaster, or has it been more like riding one of those county fair rides I made the mistake of riding on with my sister when we were kids, where I had to urgently talk her through not getting sick all over me? Well, that's what you're feeling is real. Here, let me show you. These are the Nevada State gaming statistics from 2020 through 2022 for 6 of the many Nevada areas reported. I've highlighted the average monthly returns for downtown Las Vegas. Do you see how it looks like a roller coaster with ups and downs? Those ups and downs have slots player win percents differing by around 2.5%, which is the difference between the worst and best casino you've ever been to. No wonder you feel sick to your stomach. Let's get into what's going on and, even better, what you can do about it. Okay, so let me make sure that I put it. Okay, good. Uh, and of course, I'll be taking your questions because this is a live stream. And a special thanks to my moderators for helping out today. If you have a question, use hashtag question at the beginning of your live chat comment. That's so we can be sure to spot your question to me instead of comments in the live chat to each other. After all, this is also a community video where friends check in with lots of comments to one another, which is great. So please, if you have a question for me, start your comment with hashtag question. Hello, slots enthusiasts. If you're new to my channel, welcome. How these live streams work is I pick a slots topic inspired by your comments, questions, and conversations with you. I'll talk. This is one from Mark. Today's is from Mark, who I was talking to for 45 minutes or so on my 15-minute free chat situation. But I'll talk about that slots related topic for a few minutes, then answer your questions. So start asking your questions now. I want to thank, let me make sure the volume's good. I want to thank Chuck for his donation of $90, $20.93. He says in his super chat, "Good morning, all. Chuck Fest is coming." Are you sure it's not Chuck Palooza? And also, I want to thank Magpie11 for her super chat donation. She says, "Good morning. Winners believe they can win." And everybody else is saying hello as well. Hello. Hashtag question. So Ed, you need to actually tell me what your question is. Okay, so let's move into the presentation. This is a little hard to see, so I'm going to make it so I'm kind of in the corner. Yeah, okay. So in my Nevada slots return to player article, and the video for it will be available soon here on YouTube, I went through all the average monthly slots returns for the last 36 months for 6 areas. You should know that I've started cycling through the 20 states that publicly offer monthly return statistics. Recently, someone pointed out yet another website article showing record revenue returns from casinos this year. As usual with these articles, they pull their data from the gaming revenue tracker at American Gaming Association, which the AGA gets from these 20 states' gaming commissions. Not all states, 40% of US states. You know what they say about the internet, check your sources and where they get their information. So this is where I get my information, because the state gaming commissions. Anyway, I'm working my way through these 20 states. Next up is New Jersey return to player, which means Atlantic City. So watch for that to come out on my website at professorslots.com first, then as a YouTube video. I'd share it with my podcast audience too, but they can't share it. I can't share images with them, so they can see what I see, what we see. So this colorful graph has the state data for average returns for 6 state regions. And let me get myself out of the way here. And there we go. Okay. These names are on the right side of the graph. Hopefully you can see this. If you're on a computer monitor, if you're on a phone, it can be a little hard, but I think I found the right balance of things. So the first thing I should mention is how to read these graphs. Across the bottom is every other month, a label for every other month from January 2020 through December 2022. I only label every other month on the horizontal axis because it gets a little busy if I label all of them, but the graphs have the data for every month. And the vertical axis is player win percent. What's important about player win percent to know is that 2.5% is a difference that smacks you so hard your mama can feel it. So I mean, it's the difference between the state average of Indiana at around 90% and the state average of Nevada at 92.7%, essentially the worst and best average state returns. So if you look at the player win percent for the Las Vegas Strip, and let me bring that up for you. There. So I'm highlighting it here. I'm highlighting it. So here it is in orange. Here, do you see how it goes up and down every month? Even for the small differences from the summer of 2021 had those ups and downs. Now look at December 2022. What do you think? What do you think January 2023 is going to be like with that sharp rise in December? I checked the Nevada's Gaming Commission website this morning, and I can quickly show you that link. Here we go. Right, so this is the Nevada Gaming Commission, and the most recently available return is for December 2022. So they haven't yet posted. They haven't yet posted that return for January. Usually in the next couple of weeks they'll do that, and so we can check to see. But I think we know. So last month's returns are not yet available. But that sharp increase in December wasn't just for the Las Vegas Strip. It also happened even more dramatically for downtown Las Vegas and the Idaho border town of Jackpot. You might say these fluctuations are normal, but they are not. How do I know it was a choice? Because Reno, Sparks, and Wendover didn't make that choice for 3 years. For the last 3 years at least, different state regions in Nevada have made their choice and stuck with it. That's not random behavior. That's not what random behavior looks like. What this looks like is a plan, a casino business plan chosen by the casinos in each state region, choosing to work together, obviously. But it's not just Nevada statistics. So let's take a look at Missouri's return to player, slots return to player. That's Reno, Sparks, and Wendover up there. So let's look at Missouri. Wow, that's a busy graph. Here, let me highlight 3 casinos in Missouri. This is a graph of the monthly returns from Missouri's 13 riverboat casinos. I've highlighted River City at the top of the 3 years of monthly returns, Horseshoe St. Louis in the middle, and Century Cape Girardeau near the bottom. And in Missouri, these are the choices made by each riverboat casino. It's not a state region thing. It's like Nevada. Nevada doesn't have casino by casino. It has state region or town, a region of a town. They break it up into quite a few sections, of which I showed 6. But in Missouri, it's casino by casino. And you might say that's terrible. But make sure you compare Nevada and Missouri properly. In the Missouri graph, most of the vertical axis is a difference of only 3.5%. Let me see if I have that for you. Yes, it's only a difference of about 3.5% for the whole thing. And I'm showing an arrow here for 2.5%. The worst and best casino returns range across that 2.5%. For Nevada, the win percent is higher on average Um, there that is, and higher on average. But you can see where Missouri fits into the Nevada data. And so for Nevada, the win percent is higher on average, but the range is so much higher. It's double the range at 5%. What does all that mean? It means that Las Vegas Strip and downtown Las Vegas have roller coaster returns from month to month, as you might expect from tourist destinations, but not as much for the Nevada cities of Reno, Sparks, and Wendover. If you live elsewhere in Nevada that's not shown, you might want to check the state returns for your region to see if you're living in an area that's more like downtown Las Vegas or more like Reno. And Missouri residents can see their roller coaster is much less like those in Las Vegas. You might even say that it's a bit dull, but also predictable, which can be good. From month to month, you'll know what you get. Let me see if I have another. Yeah. From month to month, you know what you'll get. And Reno, Sparks, and Wendover have an even shorter range than Missouri riverboat casinos, slightly less than one win percent. But it's literally off the chart with regards to Missouri, centered around 95.4%. So that's way off the top of the image that I'm showing you. So all this Nevada and Missouri state data perhaps doesn't include the state where you play slots, but there are 18 other states, that offer monthly return statistics you might want to check. Those other states are Colorado, Connecticut, for the podcast listeners, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Massachusetts, Mississippi. I already mentioned Missouri and Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Oregon. I almost said oregano. I guess I'm hungry. Pasta later. Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. Maybe you should check them, see if you're on a roller coaster. So these are the states these are in red, are the states that I've so far created return to player articles for. You guys are playing on my desk. Did you want to drink my water? Is that it? Come on. It's my water. There are states for which these are the states for which I've so far created return to player articles for. I work on doing the next one. I work on doing the next one about once a week or so, and we'll start over at the beginning and update them as I finish the series of 20. It's taken me a while to do the first 20 articles from scratch, much longer than I expected, but updates should not take nearly as long. Of course, 7 of these 20 states have slot machine returns broken down by denomination. So there's that. My work with helping you to win at slots is never done, which I'm fine with. I enjoy helping you. So let me show you quickly where to find the articles that I have written for you on my website. It's very simple. You just go to it's very simple. Just go to professorslots.com, and you see my mouse right here under reviews, right there, reviews. And these will have the articles. Most recent is Nevada. And that's an article. Before that was Missouri, before that Mississippi, before that Massachusetts. Now I do also casino reviews as well, so it's a combination of these two. But I've been trying to get caught up on the state reviews, so I'm doing them alphabetically. Next up will be New Jersey, which should be next weekend sometime. So feel free to take a look at that. Again, just go back to professorslots.com and reviews. So be sure to like this live stream. Okay. Be sure to like this live stream to help draw in more slots enthusiasts by signaling the YouTube central server algorithms like it's your favorite local casino. The more, the merrier. and improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses plus 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership group, where you'll get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials for participants. Now, I've opened registration to Slots Labs, the second version of Slots Labs. Thank you to the first group. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for helping make it so much better. The second registration is now open. Classes begin March 19th, although there's some pre-work that you can take a look at. And so if you go to professorslots.com/SL, one of the bonuses of taking Slots Labs is that 30 days to play slots smarter and win is a prerequisite. So if you haven't purchased that already, you do get it free, as well as some of my other courses. So let me share that with you quickly. Right. So these are my courses. This is where you would sign up. Courses.professorslots.com is all my courses. You get 7 Gambling Record Secrets, a mini course for free with Slots Labs, your purchase of Slots Labs, and 30 days as well as with Slots Labs. And if you go into Slots Labs, there's a video describing it, timer for how long before classes start, just a little over 3 weeks from this point. What you get, how much it costs, bonus material here, and more of a description that's going on there. So, okay. And Steve, thank you so much, Steve, for your donation. And Steve says, morning. Thank you, Steve. Much appreciated supporting the cause. Okay, so let's start going through the live chat and seeing. Hi, Mary Ellen. Hi, Miriam. Ed has questions, I see. Steve, hi, Steve. Good morning, everybody. Hello, John and the moderators. Steve is from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I was just talking to Mark from Wisconsin, although I think he's traveling to Nevada with his family today. I hope the weather is treating you okay. We got in the last 24 hours, it's a little after 9 a.m. Pacific time right now, and it started snowing exactly 24 hours ago, and I think we got 7 inches in Reno. In my section of Reno. Wow. Slots of Fun. Thank you, moderators, by the way. Slots of Fun is one of them, one of my moderators, and Chuck is as well. And Texas Tootsie. Hi, Jan. How you doing? Flip is here. Flip is here. Flip is in the house. And Ed has the first question. Do you have a chance to test stopping the spin in Buffalo Gold to catch the 3rd bonus circle? It seems to work for me more often than not. So in Slots Labs, one of the things that we've been talking about is some people play one machine or 2 machines exclusively. That's what they play. I have gotten tips on how to play dancing drums. And what symbols come up when you see certain symbols, you should make max bet, but until that happens, you make minimum bet for, I don't know, half an hour or so before certain symbols show up, because it's about to pay out. The people who know that are the people who put hours and hours and hours into a particular game, and I don't. As you see from my demo videos, I just play game after game after game. There is one machine that I have played a tremendous amount on for months and months and months, 3 times a week, hours at a time. That's Wheel of Fortune. And I can tell you that I never saw anything like what you're describing for Wheel of Fortune. So if you say that you have Buffalo Gold and that you, stop the spin, catch the 3rd bonus round circle, that's actually not something I would do. The reason why is I stop the spin every time. So I wouldn't be able to tell if stopping the spin had an effect, because I always stop the spin. You can even see me mistakenly do that. I try to let the roll up occur in my demo videos, but often you'll see me like hit the button and stop it and go, "Oh, John, you're not playing for yourself here. You're doing a demo video." People want to see the roll up, but for me personally, no. So I can't help you. For a couple of different reasons. One, I don't play Buffalo Gold exclusively or that much, and second, I stop the spin every time, particularly unless I'm making a video. Hey, Steve, wish I could help you out, Ed. Maybe somebody else can and comment. And right, so Steve has a question. Steve likes to use every possible character. He gets 200, and then he will sometimes add a second comment to finish his question. You can write shorter questions. So let's see what Steve has to say. For the last 3 weeks, my local casino has been extremely busy. You are in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I assume it's somewhere near there in Wisconsin. I spoke to my host and was told they're extremely busy because of people getting their income tax returns. Also, are you having Skip back on for tax questions? Skip. Are you referring to Mid-America CPAs and Keith? I had him on a year ago. If I was going to do that, as you likely know, income tax preparers, my accountant, my CPA, who I offer up as somebody who you guys can use because he understands he understands YouTubers' finances, but he also understands slot machine gamblers. And some accountants who prepare income taxes don't, but he does. And I've had him on here, but I need to have him on in December because January, February, March, April, he's extremely busy with all the tax returns that he's doing for so many people. So if I was going to have him, I would have had him on December. And I didn't do that this year because I moved and I wasn't set up. And so once a year, I'll have him back on December this coming year. So I can give you my opinion about taxes, but because I'm not a licensed professional income tax preparer like Keith is, then I have to make sure that you understand that I am not licensed, and it's my opinion. He can tell you and back it up with his license what the answer is. And so there's the difference there. I think earlier I said earlier that, check your sources on the internet, and I am not a licensed income tax preparer. Magpie says, interesting, Kansas City kicked off sports betting in September 2022, and one casino seemed to want to reward players for coming in. Right? Let's see. I have... Yeah, so there was September 2022. I'll put that away so I can see the numbers. September 2022 is here. One did not. And then there was this big climb here. So if you want to go to Missouri, let's go the other way here. Take a look at reviews. Go to Missouri. Go down to the returns. Well, I think there's a better way to do this. Let's do this instead. I'm going to open up my Excel spreadsheet and show you my graph so we can play with it a little bit. And that would be Missouri, return to player. And yeah, see, this is the sort of thing you get from the data isn't it fascinating? So this is my Excel spreadsheet that I update. These are the graphs that I made. And if you look at some of these, September, so I'm going to go through these one by one, maybe make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. Yep. And go through these one by one with each one highlighted. And let's keep an eye on September 2022. So there was a big jump up for Argosy Riverside. Not much of a jump for Century Carthsville. A jump, sort of a normal jump for Hollywood. A big jump for Harrah's, Kansas City. I think that's what you were talking about, right? Boom. It's really unusual for them to jump that high. And then we have, but it dropped at Bolly's, Kansas City, but it always was low. And then Maristar, Kansas City, dipped in that month. So these are all casino choices. Mark Twain had nothing noticeable, as Maristar St. Charles had nothing noticeable. River City had nothing noticeable, although it's generally high. And Horseshoe St. Louis, nothing noticeable, and nothing noticeable in Isle of Capri, Boonville, and nothing, kind of a drop, but not unusual drop for St. Joe Frontier, and Century Cape Girardeau didn't have anything noticeable. So these are the sort of things where you go back and you say, well, right there, Kansas City got sports betting, and by golly, that's huge. So it's a little small for some people, and I'll make sure that it's in the live stream so people can see it. So there you go, and that yellow here, that peak right there is what I think Magpie 11 is talking about, with September being a draw to get people into the sports betting. Yeah. These are the sort of things that you can get from the data. I have to do all 20 states for you, and I enjoy that. But for these questions, if you have questions, you should go into look at the article and look closely at the data, and maybe even start tracking it yourself for your particular casino. Yeah. And Sandman Slots says in response to Magpie 11, indeed. Miriam says, question, is it predictable by looking at prior years what that year will look like, January last to January this year? There's all kinds of analysis that you can do. And that's one of the things that I would love to do. But first, I got to work through all 20. And then the next time through, maybe I will do more than just monthly for the 7 states that have slot machine denomination broken down returns. I broke that down for Colorado, and then realized it was going to take me far too long to do all the others. Maybe I should just do the last 3 years on all of them on the first time through, and then the second time through start breaking it down by slot machine denomination. But that's a great thing I've considered. A great thing to do would be to look at, is January always this way? Is December always this way for your state? What are the year by year choices? We can see in Nevada that Reno, Wendover, Sparks have all chosen to do this. There was some little blip in Wendover on this month. Otherwise, they've been rock solid, all within 1 percentage point, but yet not, up 1 month, down 1 month, sometimes 2, up, down, up, down, up, down. If you have a terrible time you just read this. How do you get off the roller coaster? Go every other month and hope that you're not on the dip, but on the peak. Or not worry about it and go to the cities in Nevada that don't have a roller coaster going on for you, right? But of course, travel plans are your own, and local casinos are best. And so, yeah, there's a bit that goes on here. But I don't mean to throw colorful graphs at you, but my goodness, this is just lying out there for you. There's plenty of people, plenty of channels that's are doing quite well by screaming at you, by getting all red faced to give opinions, myths this, myths that, 50 myths. And it's just like, dude, what the heck? You're creating myths to get that many. And so let's just review the sources of our data. Yes, you have to be able to look at a graph and understand what it means. I try to make it pop for you by having colors and highlighting the different casinos, but all this is available to you. And that's something I've begun to realize my audience members enjoy, to see what's up. Yeah, don't even get me started on. I had another conversation with somebody about, so tell me about volatility, and I'm like, what do you even mean by that? I know what other people mean by that, but what do you mean? Dave says, what are your thoughts on Chumba and Lucky Land online casino? Online slots are like the wild, wild west right now, and they have been for a couple of years. They're getting a little bit better. What I like to see is the return statistics by state. Not even that. I would like to, before that, I'd like for the state gaming commissions to regulate online gamings in their state. So when you ask me thoughts on Chumba, the main confusion on Chumba is that, well, they don't pay out, and then people are like, they do pay out in real money, and yeah, no, they don't, not in my state. And that's when you look at the frequently asked questions on their webpage, which are excellent, and they explain, well, this is based on sweepstakes games, on raffle gaming regulations in your state, and some states don't have those. And so in those states, it is not real money gambling at that website. But in other states, there is raffle gaming regulations, and so they follow those, and it can be, giving you money back. So this is all sort of like wild, wild west, shoot 'em up, and when it gets calmer. So Chumba is not online slots. It is online raffle, and it depends on your state regulations. Lucky Land Online Casino is actual real money gambling, but then is that legal in your state? And so this is the wild, wild west. And I want to have information where it's regulated. I don't care what the regulations are. We can take advantage of whatever regulations there is. But if there's no regulations, what craziness is that? So my thoughts on online casinos are, let's just wait for them to settle down. Yeah, I'll get into it once there's something really to be said. Uh, yeah. Uh, yeah. We all would love to get a bonus. I hope that getting the bonus will actually end up giving you money instead of just, as I've been demonstrating in my demo videos. Oh, you almost got a bonus and that was your reward. Okay, and then I get a bonus occasionally, and it's like pennies, and I'm like, and that my award was winning the. So I'm not trying to complain here. I'm just saying bonuses aren't what they used to be, and change is a constant. Yeah. Question from Mary Ellen. This is a general tax question. Okay, I might have an opinion. I hear baccarat, blackjack, craps, and roulette weren't non-taxable, no matter how much you won. Is that true? I know slots give you a W-2G for $1,200 or higher. Okay. If you win $200 at slots, it's taxable. $100, $20, $2, 50 cents. It's all taxable. What's going on here is that $1,200 or more is automatically taxable. Under $1,200 is your responsibility, which is why I offer gambling logs, records for you. And so this is Yeah, you can, if you're at a table game, then you have chips and you buy in with chips and you uh, leave with whatever chips you have left or have gotten. And so that becomes how much you won versus how much you spent. And it's easier just to tell you what that number is. And so there's no concern about $1,200 or less. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh, I didn't make taxes. I had somebody sit next to me, and two machines over, not right next to me in a high limit room, and they won a $4,800 hand pay, but they didn't notice. They were just like, "Why is my machine broken?" And I said, "Oh, no, you won." Oh, and so they're hitting cash out, cash out, cash out, and it's not working. Why is the machine still broken? And I'm like, well, it wasn't broken in the first place, and also there's a whole process where the slot attendant will come and give you a hand pay and help you pay taxes, which is where I made a mistake because they turned and looked at me like with fire in their eyes, and they said, "Taxes." And I was like, whoa, well, here comes the slot attendant now. I'm out. And that's how John puts a foot in it. Lisa has a question. If you hit a lot of bonus spins, 100 plus, and you need to leave, is there a way for the casino can fast forward your game to the end so you don't have to sit through all those spins? It depends on the game, but you can do it. You can shortcut it. You can, while it's spinning and you're waiting for the result, you can push the bet button again, and it'll go to the end result. But you might have to do it 100 times. Yeah. Otherwise, no, the game is being played out. They would love for you to get done faster, so you or somebody else, can start spending money again. Yeah. So that's why slot machine manufacturers try to accommodate casinos and give them an option by canceling the roll up, is what it's called. And that's what I do when I play slots. I press the button to bet, and then I press the button to get the answer. On physical, real, or video machines, it just slams to the answer, and instantly. And because when I'm winning, I don't want to delay. And bet stop, bet stop, bet stop, bet stop, bet stop. And sometimes it's bet stop, and then when I stop, I win something, and I ding 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 to count up the credits, and I stop that. So when I regular bet and I don't win anything, it's bet stop, and when I win, it's bet stop stop. And you can believe, when I play for hours, my arm gets tired. I remember having to switch to my other arm because my right arm was just like, I'm out. So question from Magpie 11, as the role of slot play analytics expands, the slots games companies are predicting industry growth over the next 5 years. Do you think manufacturers will have more influence on casino strategies? This is like any company that works with us as a supplier. I mean, my career was in aerospace. When my second career was in aerospace, my first career was was 8 college degrees, 25 years in college, and then 25 years as an aerospace engineer, even though I still am kind of both. But now my career is Professor Slots. So there are vendors, and then there are people that they supply tools to. Okay. And so slot machine manufacturers don't just make slot machines, they also make central servers. They not only make central servers, they make the software on central servers. So they can take from the casino, the casino can offer them their marketing information. Somebody put their card in and they like to play this machine. They're not going to tell you that casino is not going to share your social security number, which they need for tax returns, for W-2Gs if you win them, but rather the slot machine manufacturers will get the sanitized data with the pertinent information. It might say that whether or not you're male or female, but it won't, home address is not included. And those slot machine manufacturers get that from all the casinos that they work with as part of their terms and conditions. They process that and then offer that analysis back to slot machine, to casinos. And when they do that, that's something. It's a service. It's an analysis package, which is, I think you know this, but I wanted to make sure everybody else understood what you're talking about. Okay, so as far as predicting industry growth over the next 5 years, what you want to read, there's quarterly reports for investors, and those are kind of questionable. I like reading the annual reports and quarterly reports submitted to the Securities Exchange Commission, SEC.gov. The reason why I like those is they are required by law to tell the truth. They don't have to tell all the truth, but what they say must be truthful. Otherwise, go to jail time for executives. And they don't, and reputation ding. So guys, would you stop? My cats are enjoying themselves. So, okay. Think manufacturers will have more influence on casino strategies. The small ones, understand that casinos there's tier 1, MGM, Caesars Properties, of course, owned by Eldorado now, and Eldorado renamed themselves Caesars because it's had a lot of brand name to that name. So these casinos have corporate headquarters where they do their own analysis, and because they have so much data. But then you have the tier 2, you have the Boyd gaming operators who have 7 casinos in the United States, or the last I checked they did. And, is that really enough to afford having all the people they would need to do the analysis, the statisticians? Let's just, contact a consultant from one of the slot machine manufacturers. Guys, okay, so now we have chasing going on. Can you see that? And yeah, okay. I'm talking to you, not to them. That's what happens. So casinos that are in the lower tier, the mid tier, yes. The top tier, they've been doing it all along. And slot machine manufacturers realize that companies are interested in how to get a better rate of return. So they're offering, it's an easy combination because slot machine manufacturers can say, oh, you want more bonus rounds that pay less money? Sure, we'll do that. And casinos can't change the game. Slot machine manufacturers change the game. And that's kind of what's going on here. Long story short, sort of. But really, is it industry growth over the next 5 years? Is that actually happening? I know you're limited to 200 characters, but is it sports betting? Is it online gaming? What is actually the growth? A lot of people are talking about sports betting being like this huge growth, and it's not. Seriously, it's not. I've talked to reporters about this, and they're like, what? What's happening is anybody who wanted to bet on sports when it was illegal. They got a bookie, and they did it illegally, and no taxes were paid. And because it's illegal, and often no taxes are paid, not every time. Some very responsible people, Al Capone, went to jail because he didn't pay his taxes. That's why, it wasn't the murder and racketeering necessarily. So everybody who wanted to do sports betting already has, and my opinion, my analysis is that it's kind of an illusion. Now it will be legal and therefore reported, but is it growth, or is it just now people are saying what they're doing? And so I really am, you said predicting industry growth over the next 5 years, and I'm like, that's the rumor, lots and lots of rumor. I've seen articles myself, and all that comes from the return statistics from 20 states, usually analysis performed by the American Gaming Association, AGA, where you can go on their webpage and see all of that, but they kind of neglect to mention that it's 40% of the country going on here. And Richard says, can you politically correct RNGs say that all randoms, yeah. Can I politically? No. Do I give opinion? No. I show return statistics. And if you've got an argument with that, with the last 3 years of Reno being up here and downtown being there, take it up with the state. This is state data. Yeah, I understand, Richard. You would like me to get in an argument and all that. Maybe. Yeah, I'm so sorry that people are not looking at the math or understand logic. Sorry, did not mean to give in a personal opinion there. Look at the state data. If you don't know what random is, there's so many people that are just like giving their opinion to get views. You know, I heard of one Vegas centric slots channel that was like, see, 5-spin method doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, tell the casinos full of people that's wrong. I understand that you wanted to say 5 spins so that you would be able to ride on my coattails. You know, this is, and the money you spent, you made back on your views, because I know it's $10 that you earn $10 for every 1,000 views. And I saw how many views you made, and you talked about how much money you spent. And so you made money on that video. Yeah. How are you helping people? Oh, not the point. I see. Let's see. Question from Slots of Fun, one of my moderators. Have you seen any difference in the roller coaster effect when comparing a $20 bankroll versus $100 first put into the machine instead of just machine by denomination amounts? So what you are looking, what you're asking about is not the state average. You're asking about your personal return to player. You're not asking about the state average. You're not asking the state return to player, nor casino return to player for like a month. You're asking about your own. And so you need to, as IRS says on their documents, keep your return to player. And IRS is, you know, opinion or not, IRS does say they like you to keep your records. And these win-loss reports they consider as secondary, if that. Useful for an audit is it. So you put in 20 bucks, see what happens, make a note, put in 100 bucks, see what happens, make a note. And then you know for your gameplay at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. or, you know, Missouri or Indiana or North Carolina, and you know what's happening for you. But yes, the state averages, we see state averages go up and down, up and down, up and down. And if the average goes up and down, that's the baseline on which you are playing. Now, if you're taking advantage of that, if you know that is happening, you can adjust to go to the predicted peaks. As Miriam was saying, was it a peak last month? Over this last year at this month. Therefore, it might well be, if it's predictable, do that for this month, but then not the next month, and follow that trend. And if you're doing all of that, then that's how you get around this whole roller coaster thing. You are always on the top of the roller coaster, and then you get off, and then you get back on at the top. You're not like riding it the whole time. Does that make sense? Question from Flip. John, I increase bankroll when I win more. I increase bankroll when I win more. Okay. When I'm losing more, I decrease bankroll. After losing 1/3 of my bankroll, I try to go home. What do you do under the same circumstances and why? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it was such an obvious thing that I forgot to mention it in my book. I mean, I would explain the story of what happened, and then I would be like, and then I went home. And I'm like, maybe I should just like point by point by point answer that. Yes, when I go to the casino, even if I know the casino, if I don't know the casino, if it's a new to me casino, doesn't matter. If I know the casino well, doesn't matter. I go and I make 20 bets, 20, oh, excuse me, 20, I go play the 20 machines with the 5 spin method and see how it's going. It's a cheap way to assess both slot machines and the casino. And if I come across and if I start going through that and I'm just like, wow, this is a great time to be at the casino. This time, this day at this casino is awesome. I can see that because, the return that I'm getting from minimum bets on 20 machines. But then I come across one of those machines and it's just like, wow, 50-cent bet and I won $15. Okay, I'm not going to go. I'm going to pause the 5 spin method and I'm going to stay here and I'm going to make max bets. What I like to do is like I make a few more bets, do my tough love approach, go up to 20 bets, minimum bets, and just see what happens. I do demonstration videos on this. And if at 20 bets, it's just like, man, this is just paying and paying and paying and paying, then yeah, I'll try out minimum bets. What I like to do is I try minimum bets and I try maximum bets because I played a highly visible machine at Hollywood Lawrenceburg that near the cafe, and I have an article on that review. And by golly, I won for an hour on minimum bets, 1 hour, not just pushing the button, waiting for the end or for them to end, pushing the button, stopping the roll up, pushing the button again to get the ding, 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 ding from the credits that were won, and just going as fast as possible for 1 hour, 60 minutes. And after an hour, I'm like, my bankroll with minimum bets went from 60-cent to 90-cent bets, went from $100 to $300. Which is, slow growth, but nevertheless growth, 3 times what I came in with. And I'm like, okay, so what would you ask? Well, John, I would ask you to go to maximum bets. And I'm like, how about I go to medium bets right in the middle, $2.70 for half an hour. And so I played it at $2.70 for half an hour, and my bankroll did not go up, but it also didn't drop. It pretty much hovered, bankroll cycling. And I'm like, okay, half an hour is good. Let's try it for another half an hour, but I'll do maximum bets. And I won just as often, but I didn't win 5 times as much as I did with minimum bets. On a minimum bet, 90-cent bet, I would win $20 every couple of rounds. Every 10 bets, I would win like $20 or a little bit less, 8. And I was, increasing my bankroll. And so I when I went to maximum bets, I noticed that my wins were just as often, about every 8 bets or so, but I wasn't winning 20 times 5. I went from 90-cent bets to $4.50 bets, which is 5x increase, but I wasn't winning 5x the wins I had at minimum bet, $20 wins. I wasn't winning $100 every 8 or so bets. I was winning $35 every 8 or so bets, which meant that I was losing money. And my $300 bankroll dropped down to like $150, and I left. And so that's what I do. Was it a little bit too much of an answer? But this is my variation of what you talked about. Yeah, absolutely. That's wisdom right there in what Flip was saying. Absolutely. Kitty rampage. And now they take a nap. Okay. Brent, so I've heard you say you have been to Derby City. Yep, I have been. So is paying high limit room low bet a good way to maybe win a good hey, I'm out. The only strategy that I found, and I've only went there once, for several hours on Valentine's Day, I think it was last year, and I also went to the same day I went to Red Mile, and when I found at Derby City, and by the way, the floor manager was just awesome. They gave me a great explanation about how historic horse racing in Kentucky actually came from Arkansas, and the machine manufacturers of horse racing games using the records from the last 100 years of horse races to get the results of any particular win on a horse racing machine, using 30 of them for every real position, many, many, many games at each bet. A result of each bet. He was explaining all that to me, and how those manufacturers are like, but based on the success in Kentucky, are looking to expand all over the place. And that's what people have now in Nebraska, although Nebraska updated their gaming records 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, one day ago, and they don't say anything about historic horse racing, but I believe that's all they have, because they don't have slots gambling records, they have pari-mutuel. Anyway, it's a big expansion thing. So what I found in Derby City was highly visible machines, and the best I could do was cycle my bankroll, not make money, but just keep my money and walk out with what I walked in with, which counts as success in some people's book. And so I played for hours on like $100 next to the bar. Not every machine next to the bar, but the one that was closest to the wall. And it was obvious what was happening. I realized that I had found the best I was going to find. Maybe on some other days you'll find it better, but highly visible locations. If you look at your casino from 15 feet, 25 feet outside of the high limit room, what do you see? Play those machines. Go into the high limit room, kind of go to the back, and then look like you're going to walk out, but look what you see. And if you see machines that are like staring you in the face, those machines. I make minimum bets on the 2 or 3 that look at you that way, and see which one is set to win. And over by the bar. Because that's the one where I found. Good luck, Brent. Magpie says, 11 says, great answer, thanks. Yeah, well, I don't give you like answers. I say, well, that's a good question. Let's dig into this a little bit. I think I have a website article on this, and we should go to the state gaming board. and so, yeah. And so somebody has not asked a question, but they say, talk about advantage player. So advantage player, traditionally what that means is you play a game that has an advantage to it, and not all do. And many people think that like Dancing Drums has an advantage because there's a little icon where coins go into a bucket, and the bucket gets bigger. It's all just an illusion. It's all just a graphic. And so people think that's an advantage, but when in fact, if you read the game rules, there's no such thing. And so often what these advantages are something that's left over from the prior player that goes to the new player. And so people who don't understand the advantage play fill up a bucket, and machines where this does work, like Ocean Magic, where the person leaves that machine and the bucket stays full. It isn't reset with a new player. And so the casino makes money. The first player loses extra, but the second player who notices that jumps on it and perhaps even makes a profit based on what the percent that the first player would have gotten back if they continue to play. That's advantage plays, and that's advantage players. That's a niche. Of course, if you use my strategies, you're using an advantage, but usually advantage player means the game rules are such that from player to player, something holds over and you take advantage of that. They used to say if you drop your coins at a certain pace, it was called the Susan B. Anthony in that movie, one of the movies with Billy Ocean and Brad Pitt, Clooney, about those grifters, con artists, and they called it the Susan B. Anthony, where you dropped coins at a certain pace. Of course, that was all back when we had coins, and it's yeah. Brent has additional information about Derby City. Last night, $20 a machine, high limits. Lowest bet was won $300 on Buffalo Gold spin feature. Good for you. Good for you. See if it's repeatable, but don't spend $300 finding out. Wow. Sometimes I say things very succinctly, and that was one of them. And Slots of Fun says, I love that answer of getting off the roller coaster at the top. Yeah, you might think getting off, what most people do is get off the roller coaster at the bottom. I don't know, they think it's safer, but get off the roller coaster at the top. This is not the actual roller coaster. Do not try this at home. This is the analogy, the metaphor of roller coaster gambling. Yeah. Magpie 11 talks about data is the most valuable commodity and the psychology of behavioral sales for manufacturers and casinos. Cabinet makers are super interested in what motivates us to play. Good point. Fun. Yeah. Have I been to NASCAR? No, but ask Jan. Texas Tootsie. I did go to Oklahoma and I played bingo machines. What I didn't like was sometimes it's hard to know if you're on a bingo machine, at least in NASCAR, Texas, for those who don't know. That is a place where it's all bingo machines, class 2 bingo machines. Like in the state of Washington and other states like Oklahoma, you can only have bingo machines at tribal casinos, and a lot of tribal casinos, about 500 tribal casinos in the United States, roughly. And most of them don't have class 2 because most of their locals don't like to play class 2. But Texas wanted to get some games, and so they chose to have a tribal casino, and they've fought that the whole long way. You can talk to Jan in the comments about what's going on with the laws in Texas, and will this happen, and they're trying to gain some momentum, and yeah. Okay. Trendy says, love the high limit room at Derby City. That's great. Yep. So let's see. I wanted to share this as well. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You get 3 valuable bonuses and plus 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, where you'll get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free content, course, free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. And also, I have opened registration to Slots Labs. It is only open for a little while. It's a limited number of people. If you want to be a participant, sign up. And there will be things for you to start working on immediately. You will also get 30 days to play Slots Smarter and Win free if you haven't already purchased it. So, if you want to win, we talk about psychology. We talk about one of the things that I will be talking about next weekend is how to win progressive jackpots, majors, and grands. There is a method that works. We've been testing it out in Slots Labs, and I will be charging people $500 to win the major, which is over a hand pay, $1,200 to win the major on 3 different machines. I will tell you next weekend what 3 machines that you have at your casino have, and I'll be selling them each for $500. And so that you know how to do this. But so if you wanted all 3, that's $1,500, and the Slots Labs is a fraction of that. And you can help me out with that if you care to, but only until the class is full, and then I'll shut down registration again. So one last question from R. Jagger: what is best to play, 1, 2, 5, or 10 cent denomination? Not 1 cent. The others can be set at different returns, but traditionally 1 cent is the lowest. So you can cycle between 2, 5, and 10. It should make 5 bets each, and you should be able to determine fairly quickly which one has the best odds. If it isn't obvious, then I would try another machine where it is obvious. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. What a great live stream. You'll see my next live stream on Saturday at noon Eastern, or in the Pacific time zone at 9 a.m. next Saturday. In the meantime, I highly recommend you watch this video on why emotions matter to slot machine